Hey everyone and welcome back. So today I will be showing you how you can create these cool looking Instagram posts where there are videos, smartphones, multiple screenshots of the website, which is just a really cool way to display your work. Do not make the mistake to only work for your clients. Also work for yourself, for your self-promotion. And I'm saying this because I often get the question, how do you get more clients? And showing your value, your design skills, will definitely make it a lot easier to convince clients that you can also do that for them. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the first step is to choose a project. I know this is obvious, but not every project is perfect for an Instagram post. So if you're looking at all of your projects, then I would choose a project that is visually appealing. This means that the client has good images, that the design is just nice and not too boring, and there may be some interesting animations or something going on. For this example, I'm gonna pick this website, which I've made for one of my clients. It's a photography website, which is always super visual. If you refresh it, you can see that there are a lot of cool animations, which we can show in the second slide over here. And this website is also really nice on mobile. So those are the things I would look at. And if you don't think you have a project that is good enough, then please do yourself a favor and don't try to be too perfectionistic. Just pick the project that you think is the best you've done so far. And let's be honest, you don't have to upload it. So you can just try to put it in here. And what I found is that when you put it in here, it actually starts to look better. Okay, now on to step 2. Step 2 is to create a collage. The beautiful thing about Instagram is that when you create a gallery like this and you export all of these frames as images or as videos, and you use the carousel feature on Instagram, then Instagram will automatically put it in a carousel like this where you can scroll. So you don't have to worry about that. So all you have to do is just create a few frames. Each frame is 1080 pixels in width and height. They need to be a square for Instagram. And they simply have one background color. So let's just do that real quick. Pick the frame option over here. Then on the right over here, you have presets. Under the social media tab, you have Instagram post. As you can see, it creates a frame 1080 by 1080. So I didn't make up this size myself. My client website has brown colors, so for the background, I'm gonna pick a soft brown background, something like this. And then before you start creating all these shapes and duplicating it, make sure to save this color to your global colors. You do that by clicking on these 4 dots, then clicking on the plus, and then calling it something like background brown, creates the style so that it's a global color, and that when you start duplicating like this by holding Option or Alt, that you can easily change the brown afterwards like this for all the slides at once. So you create a few of these frames and then you just start to drag in some rectangles. You could just drag a rectangle like this, make sure that it's middle aligned. Oh, it was already middle aligned. So if it's not middle aligned, make sure that it's middle aligned like this and then put it to the bottom. You can make it a bit wider, it doesn't really matter that much, but something like that. For the video, you can do a 16 by 9, but it doesn't really matter because you're gonna scroll in this frame anyways. So you can create a frame that just looks good, put it in the middle. These phones, we will talk about these phones in a minute. These shapes, these diagonal ones are also just rectangles. So just drag a rectangle, make it like this, a long website, then rotate it. It doesn't have to be perfect because you can cut it off where you want. Something like this. Just make it look nice and dynamic. And you can use that same trick to create a layout like this. But in my design, I've also used very soft shadows, as you can see, and that makes it all really nice. So for now, let's make this one white so we can really see the shadow. Okay, I'm gonna click on that. We can go to effects, click on the plus, the drop shadow. Make sure to go to the color first and pick a color that is similar to your background. You can use this eyedropper tool like this. And then make it a little bit darker, like that. Then the blur should be a lot bigger. So now it's 4. Let's put it on 40. As you can see, you can also click and drag to make it even softer and bigger. Something like that looks beautiful. But then it's way too intense in terms of opacity. So you can change the opacity and make it less intense. So it's nice and soft, as you can see right here. This is very similar to what I have at the bottom over here. So now we can also save this shadow in order to use it on the other ones. So I'm going to click on the 4 dots again. I'm going to click on the style. I'm going to call this shadow brown. Add it. And then over here, we can just go to effects, 4 dots, shadow brown. And there it is. Same over here, effects, shadow brown. And now if we click outside of our artboards, we can easily adjust the shadow brown if we want to. So for example, if we want to increase the opacity, like that, as you can see, that works perfectly fine. For now, I'm going to leave it at 30, which is okay. Okay, the colors of these shapes don't really matter because we're going to put images on them anyway. So you can make them white because gray looks a little bit dirty on this background. So now you know how to create this shape. Of course, the last one is just a few screens like this. You can adjust it however you like, something like that. Make sure it's aligned properly. And here I've added 2 text layers and an icon, one to work together, and then your portfolio website, which of course is a subtle call to action, not too salesy, but you're also making it clear that you are open for projects. Okay, let's now take a look at this one. I'm gonna start by making a duplicate of this first one, because this one has a much more intense shadow. So this is a bit more narrow, as you can see right here, but it doesn't have the normal shadow. So I'm going to make a duplicate of this one. I'm going to put it in the back by right click, send to back. But as you can see, the shadow is a lot more intense. So this is the only place where I've not used a global shadow. So if you want to have a more intense shadow, just make sure to unlink it like that. Click on the plus again to add a drop shadow. Add the shadow in the exact same way, like that. Put the blur on 80 or something. And then you should increase the X to make it move to the right, like that. Maybe increase the blur just a little bit more. And then also decrease the opacity to something like 40, maybe 50. 40 looks fine. And then you have that cool looking design that you see on a lot of pages. Make sure it's always aligned in the middle. Alright, now for your mobiles, you can do something like this. I have not made them myself. I've downloaded them from the internet. That is what's so great about Figma. There are many resources. So for example, I just did a quick Google search and I found this one, Ultimate Free iPhone Mockups Pack. Here you have iPhones that look even more realistic. But if you want to have something cool, just type in Figma Mockups iPhone or MacBook. And you can click on Get a Copy. You need to log in with your Figma account and then you will get access to this file. There are many free files, so you can also use these super realistic mockups, which are maybe even cooler than what I've used over here. So make sure to also add a few screens with realistic mockups, because that always looks very professional. So now I've showed you how you can create something like this yourself and customize it a little bit if you want something different. There's one more thing that I want to show, and that is that rounded corners can also make it look really nice, as you can see right here. If you like that, then of course make sure to give it some rounded corners over here. That just looks really cool since the devices almost always also have rounded corners. I don't know, I just wanted to show that because it looks really cool. Step 3 is to take screenshots and videos, because now we've made our collage, but we need to put some content in there. So how do we do that? If you still have your original design file, then of course you can export a canvas to a JPEG or a PNG. The quality doesn't have to be that high because you're gonna put it in a 1080 frame anyways, and this one is even smaller, so don't worry about it that much. But if you don't have that, maybe you just messed around in Elementor until you had a website, well then you have a plugin for Chrome which you can use, which I think is really cool, and it's called Go Full Page Screen Capture. I will put a link to this Chrome plugin in the description. And this is really cool because if you click on it, it will start eating your page like a Pac-Man. And then it will automatically create a JPEG. So this is what you get, and then you can right click, save image as, and then you can save it in your downloads folder like that. You can do that, it then becomes a PNG. Or you can right click, copy the image. All right, it's copied. Then go back to your Figma file and then you can paste it somewhere with Command V like that. So you could just leave a few screenshots on the side here. You can do the same for mobile. So if you're on the home page, make sure to right click, inspect elements, and then make sure to select a phone, for example, iPhone 12 Pro. If you, by the way, don't see this view, then you should click on the mobile view over here. It could be that on your computer it looks like this, then the mobile version is over here. Then you can put this window on the side so you have enough room for this screenshot. And then you can do the same thing again. You can click on it and it will start eating your page like a Pac-Man. All right, there they have it. Copy or save it in your computer and paste it in your Figma. All right, beautifully. But as you can see, the screenshots are not super sharp. Actually, this is really ugly. So this doesn't always work. So what you can also do is just take screenshots from your browser like this, and then just make a screenshot with the screenshot feature on your computer. If you're on a Mac, then you should use Command Control Shift 4. If you're on a Windows, there is a key on your keyboard, I think. Windows now has a screenshot tool as well where you can select a field and then you should save a few of those images on your computer. Please be aware that if you're using this plugin, that animations can mess up the screenshot. So what I recommend is to first scroll down through the whole website so that all the animations are loaded in. Then scroll back up and then click on the icon. That most of the time works. Okay, so now let's just put some of the images in. And this will be a little bit of a challenge because right here we still have the WordPress bar, as you can see. It's not really pretty, but we will try. We'll put it in over here and then we need to select this one and the background, right click and then use as a mask. And now this one is inside of the other one. But now, as you can see, our shadow is gone. So this doesn't always work. So I don't know why this happens, but it's not the perfect solution. So what you can do, go back a few steps, is make a duplicate of this layer. So it has two shadows, then select both of them and then create a mask so there's still a layer behind it. But that of course is not a perfect solution. So what I would recommend is to just save these images on your computer, and then with this one single layer is to go to fill over here, then go to solid, go to image, then click on choose the image and then just select the image from your computer like that. Then it's not aligned how you want it. So then you click on option, double click or alt on Windows, and then you start scrolling it down by holding shift. All right, that looks decently enough. It's not perfectly sharp. So if you guys have a better solution or an alternative for this plugin that actually produces sharp images, then let me know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. So if you think that this is not good enough for your Instagram, I think it is, because on your phone, it actually looks really small and almost nobody uses Instagram on their computer. So I think it's fine. But if you don't like this, then what I recommend is to take screenshots yourself. But then make sure that's not too wide, like this. Then start making screenshots like this. Then go to Figma, paste them in here. That is a lot sharper, but also something changes in the colors. I think it becomes less saturated, but you could do this. Just keep making screenshots and adding them on top of what is already there. And then when you have a screenshot that you're ready with, group it and then export it to an image, and then use that same trick of importing an image like that. So this is a little bit sharper because you're taking screenshots from your computer, but I think we're losing a little bit of color. Do you see the difference? I'm not really sure why that happens. Maybe if we export this to a JPEG, it would become better. Let's test that. No, it doesn't become better. So I don't have the perfect solution for this. All right, so now for our mobile phones, we can do the same trick. We can go over here, go to image and select the image screenshot like that. Then hold option and make sure to select a part that you want. So as you can see, this screenshot is not sharp at all. Let's just improve that first. So I'm gonna go to the mobile version first. And let's just make a long screenshot like this. All right, there it is. But now we have a situation like this where we still have that notch. So an easy solution for this is just to add another layer on top of it. So just make sure that it's on 100%. Make sure that it has the same color of your website, and then just drag it to be under it. Right now it's black on black on black. That doesn't look really good. So I'm gonna make the notch another color so it looks like an actual iPhone. But as you can see right here, I've done that same trick as well. If you delete this, then you can see the original. You can sometimes use that to fix the notch situation. All right, let's now move to video. How do we get a video in here? Because if you play this, you can see that it's an actual video of me scrolling through the website. There are a few things you have to know. to get a video in here. I've tested many methods, but I think this is the easiest one. So what you need to do is you need to go to your website like this, make sure that it's not too wide, and then just use the screenshot feature. So I will give a solution for Mac and Windows. For Mac, use Cmd Shift 5, and that will bring up the screenshot feature with a lot more options. Make sure that it's on video and that you can select the actual frame that you want to record like this. There are a few options here, for example, a timer. So let's just put it on 5 seconds so we know when it's gonna start. So then all you have to do is click on record and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then I'm gonna reload the website and then I'm gonna scroll through the website. Not too long though, because the video cannot exceed 30 megabytes. Okay, I'm gonna go up again, otherwise it's gonna be too long. For some reason, Figma only allows 30 megabytes. So I think this video is below 30 megabytes. Let's see that. It's way too big. I don't know what went wrong. Oh, it's probably because I'm recording from a 4K screen. So that is not really good. This video is way too big. So you should do that recording on a smaller screen, but there are a few tricks to make them smaller. So first of all, you cannot work with MOV, which is the default from Mac. So you need to convert it into an MP4. So use MP4 like that. Then if you open it and you go to File, Export As, then you can export it as 720p, which is a much lower resolution. So let's just do that, 720p, let's just convert it. Now it's gonna render it to the desktop in a much lower resolution. All right, let's see that. Oh, it's actually below 30, perfect. It's still relatively sharp, it's sharp enough. But we don't need this first part, we want it to load from here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to edit and then trim, and then make sure to just cut off that first part like that. So it starts very beautifully. And we're gonna click on trim. All right, we need to save it again. Let's just use that same name, version 2, save it. All right, it still converts it into a MOV, but we need an MP4. So we're gonna change it to MP4, use MP4. Okay, and now we can finally go to Figma and click over here, then go to fill, go to video, choose a video, and then import it like that. We don't really see if it's aligned well, but it always centers it. So you need to hold Option, then double click it and make sure that it's top aligned. Otherwise it doesn't look good. Okay, let's test it now. We're gonna click on play and there you have it. You have a little video that we can now record again, but you cannot export this as a video inside of Figma. So you need to use this tool again in order to save a video from Figma like this. I haven't found an option at least to export Figma to video. If you guys know something, then let me know, but I found this is a pretty easy way to do it. Now for Windows users, I would recommend to use OBS. OBS is a free software. You can also make a selection, you can export it to a video. So you can in the same way record your screen, then make it into a video. I believe there are also some compression tools in OBS, but make sure that the video is really short because otherwise you cannot use it in Figma if it's over 30 megabytes. And then you can use OBS again to record this part so that you have a little video which you can then transfer to your phone and then upload to Instagram. So if you've imported all of your images and you are ready, then you can select all of them except the ones that contain video, and then you can export them like that to a PNG in one, export 6 layers, and there you have it, 6 images, and then you need to add the video that you have recorded from over here as well. If you want to make it easy on your phone, make sure to add numbers in front of it. So for example, this one is the first one, this is the 7th one, because there's a high chance when you upload it to Instagram that it has the correct order, which makes it easier. Okay, let's now go to the 5th step, which is uploading it to Instagram. All right, so here I have all of my files. I am now airdropping it to my phone. If you are on a Windows, you can put it in your Dropbox or your Google Drive and then download them on your phone from there. Okay, so now I have the images on my phone, as you can see, in the right order because I've used those numbers. And then you can click on the plus over here and then click on your first image and then click on this little icon over here to convert it into a carousel. And now select 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then click on the next. And here you can see it. that it automatically made a carousel from it, which really looks good. I see that I have a little problem with my video. I didn't have the right solution. There's not enough padding over here, but I will fix that later. I'm sorry, my app is on Dutch, so that's why you see another language. But here you can see the preview of how the post looks. The video actually works, really cool. The shadows, the colors, it looks really professional. So make sure to add a few hashtags like web design, UI, UX design, digital design, web designer, which of course will help a little bit with people discovering your post. And now the last step is post, share and engage. So let's say that you've posted your work on Instagram like I've done over here in the past, something like that. It looks really good and now you want to share it with the world. You can of course also post these images on other platforms like LinkedIn or Twitter, but not everywhere a carousel is available. So make it easy for yourself and just copy this link and then put it on your Twitter or your Facebook, and maybe just only upload the first image on Twitter and Facebook and then say, for everything, go to my Instagram. I just want to make this as easy for you as possible because I know it takes a little bit of effort, but hey, we all need some clients, right? So I know this is not the most straightforward thing to do, but it's not so different from designing websites, right? You're adding images, you're masking things, you're taking screenshots, it's all the same. So I will leave the link to this template down below. I hope that you found it valuable. If you did, let me know, and then hopefully I will see you in my next video.